Welcome to the Barker Podcast Collection.
The Yankee plan begins today. Today I start to make my way to a French gun. The Iranians, they get foughted cause he's a dignitary. They get all the guns that they can't carry, and there's almost no other way to get a gun today in France.
Welcome to the Not Watching Podcast. My name's Rob Howard, and today I'm joined by
Marcus Hurley.
A couple of bits of news just wanted to get to, just because they're relevant to us, I think. The first is that they are making a sequel to Breaking Bad in movie form.
Dun, dun, dun. No one saw that coming.
I honestly didn't. I really didn't see it happening. I mean, I know they've expanded the universe with Better Call Saul, but
the moment I saw that Better Call Saul there was a second series of it, I knew that they would probably do a movie, Breaking Bad. It might not. I don't know the details, but I know it might not be involved directly with the story, but it might be something on the edge. But I knew there would be something related to it.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as this broke, John put a note on my Facebook, linked it to me, and they didn't really have any details at that point, but I was really hoping that it would follow Jesse, and that's indeed what it seems to be.
Oh, wicked.
Yeah, so it's basically going to be what Jesse did next, because the original thing was it's going to follow the exploits of a kidnapped man, and so, yeah, you'd think the way you read that, it's like, oh, it's going to be about a man getting kidnapped.
Yeah.
But no, it's about a kidnapped man who was kidnapped and has escaped.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, God knows where they're going to go with it, whether or not it might link up with Better Call Saul somehow, like, because part of that is flash forward.
Yeah.
So, have you watched any of Better Call Saul?
I haven't. I need to. But it's time, because once you start these things, they have you, and I know that. But I really do need to, because I don't want to be too far behind. Because I think there's 2 seasons of it now, or is it a third one now?
4.
Jesus.
There's
okay,
4
I'm
seasons
too
of
far
Better Call
back.
Saul.
I need to start that now. I'm going to download it to my phone and start watching it on the way in.
Fucking hell, yeah, just get on that, please. It's like
4.
Yeah. It's time waits for no one, Marcus. They keep making this shit, but it's really good. Honestly, it's worth watching. There's some very cool callbacks to Breaking Bad, which was all right, I suppose.
Yeah, it wasn't too shabby.
Yeah, I mean, it's shows like that are responsible for this podcast existing, to be honest. So yeah, I thought it was worth mentioning. So yeah, I'm going to be all over this. So. The thing is, they don't know whether it's going to come out in cinemas or it will just go onto AMC. AMC are kind of commissioning a lot of these 2-hour movies. I think they're trying to follow the Netflix model by, just trying to raise their profile by putting out really high quality TV films.
Yeah.
But I would love to see something directed by Vince Gilligan on the big screen. Breaking Bad definitely had loads of great cinematography, and Better Call Saul does still as well. They're going to be shooting it in New Mexico, I believe, part of that part of the world as well, I think. So awesome. Yeah, it should be great. Modern day Western, hopefully. Cannot wait. And the other bit of news I wanted to mention before we talk about Daredevil is the fact that Luke Cage and Iron Fist have been cancelled. And I just wondered what you thought about this, Marcus, and whether you think
it's a really sad day when 2 shows that long outlived their usefulness take this long to get cancelled. Honestly, I think Luke Cage needed to be 3 to 4 episodes shorter in the first series, and then that was it. Thought it was done. Didn't necessarily need a second series. And I thought Iron Fist needed to be 6 episodes long.
Yeah, and no second series.
And the second series of Iron Fist was kind of okay at first, but then a lot of things didn't add up, and I just realised he was still a dick. And at that point, I was like, no, you are still a dick. I don't know. I don't care. I just think, yeah, glad. I'm just more disappointed they wasted it, because the way that it was supposed to be, the Defenders was a waste. They had started putting all this stuff together and they fluffed it. Because we have a good example of what decent writing can do to redeem a series. Moving on to Daredevil season 3.
Yeah, have you done it all?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did it all
stop.
pretty quickly. Yeah,
I could not stop.
It's such a return to form, and it made me think, like, I cannot even believe that these other shows are in the same universe as this. You know, I mean, to be honest, to be fair, they did go back to a lot of what made the first series great.
Yeah.
Having Fisk in there, obviously continuing that plot is brilliant. He should never have not been in it. He should just be in it all the time, forever. They keep making Daredevil.
That's what made the first half of season two was good, because you had Punisher, you had Fisk, the whole prison scene where he's trying to get the Punisher to work for him. The moment they went the whole Mystic Ninja and the hand, which then spilled over into everything, like Iron Fist was all about the hand, Defenders was all about the hand. It was all in service of the whole Defenders thing. Yeah. Which is basically just been not a good thing at all for Daredevil. And the moment they've ditched that, and it's like, oh wow, this is awesome again.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's a particular scene in a prison that I think at that point I was like, oh my god, yeah, we're back, because it does take a few episodes to get going. Yeah. He's not in a very good way. No. Spoilers for the Defenders. He basically a building falls on top of him. Yeah. But somehow he manages to get out of it, and is nursed back to health by Sister Mags. Is it Sister?
I want to say not Mandolin.
It's
this is terrible.
No, it's Sister Maggie.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure
she's pretty much like a cameo character from like the comics and stuff, apparently.
Yeah. There's some developments with her later on that I don't want to spoil, but I thought that was brilliant. No, it's really good. I love that trio of characters as well. You know, Foggy and Karen Page.
Karen Page.
I mean, but so there's 3 episodes of kind of re-establishment. Let's get back on good sort of footing. And then, he basically infiltrates a prison and it fucking all goes to hell. There's like this amazing one shot, which apparently, it was like him going through a door. Then
God, yeah. And the camera just doesn't stop. And it goes round. But there's bits where he goes out of shot and his stunt double comes in, like to take over for a bit. So there's brilliant. There's two of them basically doing the scene, but they choreograph it perfectly. So it's just all one shot. Oh, that is fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, the first series, and I think the second series had a moment like that too. But yeah, that's Daredevil at its strongest, I think, when he's kicking ass. And yeah, I really enjoyed this series. Fisk's great in it. They also set up Bullseye. They don't go all the way with him, but I thought the introduction, the way they did that, the setup was amazing. It reminded me a little of what was it? It's almost like the only redeemable thing of Iron Fist season 2 was Typhoid Mary. I think Typhoid Mary. I think she's meant to be the character. The multiple personality sort of character. I thought that was really interesting. The way that they did that was better than the series it was in. I wanted the story to be about her, and I got annoyed that all the other characters were just interfering and watering down her story. But the way that I can't remember the name of the FBI officer, and he is so good. I was literally just clicking on him. Rainer Dean.
Rainer Dean, yeah.
He's the guy who,
that's it.
Oh, Poindexter is the Bullseye, yeah.
But the way that they start it is so good, because you see it. I wasn't sure who he was. I thought at one point he was they almost make you think he's Deadshot, even though it's the wrong universe, because of his introduction. Kind of a slight spoiler, so if you haven't seen the series, we kind of spoiled a bit anyway. But basically, Fisker's been moved from prison to a FBI sort of safe house. By safe house, it's like a massive hotel of luxury.
He's basically done a deal to get out.
He's done a deal with the FBI. And he's been moved, and these people try and take him out. I think they're the Albanians or something like that, I'm not sure, or hired by them. And they try and take him out. They take out the FBI escort, and they're on the verge of basically getting to him. They're almost through the bulletproof glass, and they're going to kill him. And you see his one guy's boots appear, and then with a pistol, and he just takes everyone out. Yeah. Absolutely everyone. Single shot. It's just insane. You kind of think, this is not normal. This guy needs to be someone. But then it makes you think, oh, he's just a really good marksman. If you didn't know anything about the bullseye connection, you'd think, oh, he's just really good. And then you start finding out the darkness of his past and everything else, and the way that things start going horribly wrong, like he'll just throw a knife and it'll just randomly out of rage hit a person in a painting in a picture frame.
He does the ricochet thing. That's like his thing, isn't it? Yeah.
But there's so many bits. I mean, I'm going on a bit too long, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's fairly early on in the series. There's still a lot of twists and turns that happen, so I wouldn't say that spoils it too much. But
it's a fantastic watch, though. So I would say if you felt burned by season 2, which I did, or the end of it, definitely give this a watch. Glorious return to form. Yeah,
I'd say maybe even give Defenders a go. Like if you've fallen off the Marvel thing and watched Daredevil 1 and 2, maybe it's worth picking up again. And Daredevil's kind of story does cross through Defenders, so it's maybe worth watching that. I mean, that's only 8 episodes, but otherwise you might be a little bit miffed at like where he's come, how it starts. It's a little bit ambiguous there. The thing that I liked about it was that they managed to get a single plot going for 13 episodes, and I didn't feel like there was a single wasted episode. There's some that kind of go off, like there's one actually called Karen that goes into her background a bit, and I was a bit like, oh, here we go, back, bottle episode sort of thing. Yeah. But that's actually pretty decent and sheds some light on her character. Yeah. That really does kind of develop her in a significant way. I think everyone gets to do their bit, and I'd say the character of Raina Dean, played by Jay Alley, there's a very cool arc there for a character that you might think seems unnecessary at first, but is kind of the key to the whole series. I think it's the main arc. I think that keeps it going. So that's all you need to do. Is if you don't know what to do with your characters, just have one good character with one decent arc, and you're golden. Yeah. So
I thought it was really well done. It was almost like one of those sort of FBI police stories wrapped up in a sort of superhero. Well, not really subtly superhero, because that's what Daredevil is, isn't he? He's not really the whole big flamboyant thing. I mean, the crazy thing about him is that he can somehow see and sense people. But other than that, the way that the world works, it's still just as horrible and gritty as ever.
Oh, yeah. I'm just looking up who the showrunner is on Daredevil Season 3.
Do we know if they're getting a 4th one? Or is that it?
I don't know for sure.
Because I think it'll be a shame. I think they've done that because they've kind of realised, let's do the best we can.
Oh, here we go. Daredevil showrunner confirms Season 4 talks at Netflix.
Wow.
He's apparently pitched it. So this is Eric Olsen. Yeah, that's who I'd looked up. Okay. So yeah, Eric Olsen is currently the showrunner on Daredevil, and he's also worked on Man in the High Castle, Arrow. They're the only ones that I've heard of. Yeah,
probably early Arrow, I reckon, because the feeling of early Arrow was pretty good. I've not watched any Arrow past season
2014 to 2015 he did Arrow, so that must be fairly early on.
Yeah, probably the start when it was good.
Yeah.
Goodish.
Episodes, year. Oh yeah, it was kind of season 4 Arrow.
Oh wow.
So
okay.
yeah, but maybe he's got a lot of good stuff to work with here. They set it up so well in season 1 that it doesn't take. You kind of it takes a real idiot, I think, to fuck that up, or obligations to a crossover event show that compromises the whole thing. But anyway, yeah, Daredevil's really good. Jessica Jones is okay, but the rest of it's shit. I think, to be honest.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I was bored watching Luke Cage. I mean, we've talked about Luke Cage season 2, I think, already, so we don't need to. It was just boring.
Yeah,
absolutely boring. Anyway, let's get away from that.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention while we're on the subject of Netflix, you watched The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, and I'm interested in this because you said you thought it was all right.
A lot different than I expected.
Yeah, so what is it? Because the thing is, to me, I look at it and I know her from Sopranos. She played the daughter, Tony Soprano's daughter. But I think of Sabrina as like a kid's thing from years ago.
It was. Melissa Joan Hart, basically a 30-something-year-old person playing a, 16-year-old kid or something like that. Right. It was back in the day of Blossom and everything else, and Fresh Prince was still new. Right. So yeah, definitely 90s TV, product of its time. Basically, the thing is, apparently there were comics. And I haven't researched this, but I don't know whether the version that they did on TV was a sanitized version of what could have been darker comics.
I think maybe the comics were based on like a new twist on the old thing.
Maybe.
And this is a TV show of
based on those comics. Okay. Yeah, that might be.
I think that's the case.
Sense. This is so different. This is basically night and day to that TV show. Right. Absolutely night and day. The fact that the witches are allowed to be full 100% unadulterated evil worshipping witches to the point where they don't say, "Oh, thank God," they say, "Oh, thank Satan."
Right.
They're actually being, I think they're being sued by the Church of Satan or something like that, because there is a school in there and they have a statue of the goat statue, and apparently the pose and everything with the children, it's pretty much 90% the same, and it's like a copyrighted thing from the sculptor or something like that, so there's legal action going on. But anyway, it's dark. It's still very much a TV series, but the feeling of it is so much darker. They managed to fit in the whole sort of teenage girl, lovey-dovey, her boyfriend's no longer a jock. He's just a bit of a weird kid at school. The cat doesn't talk, but is a demon in cat form. Genuinely, when you first see Salem, this is slight spoilers, so if you don't want to know, turn off for the next, few minutes. When you first see it, it is literally this creepy looking demon hanging onto a door, like proper long tail, weird, gargoyle-esque, creepy fucking creature. I literally went, "Oh," and then it kind of slithers behind the door and the cat comes out. There is sacrifice, there is blood, there is throat slitting, it is violent, it is quite brutal, there are spiders. It really is quite strange. I would say it's worth a binge rather than a sort of watch, because you get more of the story going. There are 1 or 2 episodes that I think felt a bit more like it was slowing down a bit, and the finale, I think, doesn't really track as well as the opening episodes. The opening episodes feel so much darker, and then it kind of loses a little bit of momentum. But there are only a few episodes. I think there's like 10 or something like that.
Yeah.
Which is a good amount. And there's also a holiday special being put out.
Yeah,
so
I saw that.
Special.
I know that I found that incredibly endearing as well, and it made me want to watch this more.
This is definitely not a light, fuzzy. I think John was mentioning that. This is definitely not a light, fuzzy sit down. It's basically the equivalent would be, imagine if watching old episodes of The Fresh Prince, but he was selling crack and he had like hose and he was knifing people and was basically a scumbag. That will be the equivalent of it. They literally do turn it all on its head.
So, like, what certificate is this then?
I don't actually know. I think...
I mean, what would you give it?
I don't know. It's on Netflix, so I don't know. I just pick up stuff. Let me have a look. I reckon it should be a 15, simply because of the amount of blood and stuff.
But the thing is, because it's about a young character, I just sort of think, oh, that's not for me, in the same way that, like, 13 Reasons Why I decided was not for me.
Maybe. It's a bit different from that. It's very similar in a certain way, because it's all about young life and stuff like that. I'll tell you what it does remind me of. It reminds me of, if they ever did a Buffy reboot, it's almost like what it should be for now.
Yeah, because I was thinking, is it like that?
Yeah.
Because I not Buffy. I liked True Blood. That's what I liked.
It's not quite as adult as True Blood.
No,
but although actually there is a lot of murdering of people and stuff like that, and it's just, and that's the thing. It's really weird because I watched it. It feels like I watched it a while ago. Basically, on her birthday, she has to go through a ceremony where she writes her name in blood for the Dark Lord to claim her soul so she could become a full witch, rather than being a half witch. The Dark Lord is literally Satan.
Right, okay. Is it like Harry Potter?
No. It's darker. If Harry Potter was like this, it's a lot
grimmer
darker
than Harry Potter.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot blood. It's bloody. It's actually bloody.
Right.
I don't quite know, because that's the problem. When you watch things like Where the Night Comes for Us, that's really bloody. Whereas this, you do see people get their throat slit, and there's like, proper, it's not the throat slit and you don't see any blood. It's the throat slit with blood squirting out. People get stabbed, killed, maimed, whatever.
Yeah.
It's different. I did enjoy it because I thought it was really well done, and it is quite horrific in some ways.
All right.
You're not sure what it's doing until about the third episode, maybe.
Yeah.
And then it just goes, oh yeah, okay.
All right. Well, I've got a lot stacked up to watch at the moment, but I'm
I'd
not
say
going to
put it on a
out.
pile at the back somewhere, and if you could get round to it, you probably will enjoy it. But
I'm not going to add it to my list just yet, but if I'm starved of things to watch, I will certainly consider it.
I'm not going to try and convince you, because I it's hard to kind of say it's above all these awesome things that are out at the moment. But I would say it's definitely worth a watch.
I mean, I can't even tell you if any of these things I've got to watch are going to be good or not, but it's like, and some of them I'm definitely going to be taking a chance on, but it's just like, I'm just trying to curate my backlog, and you know what I mean? Any excuse to not watch something, and I won't, hence the name of this show. Anyway, speaking of things that I wish I didn't bother watching, also on Netflix is the second series of Making a Murderer.
Yeah.
So, spoiler alert, they're still banged up inside. Stephen Avery and his nephew, whose name escapes me for the moment. But yeah, basically, the reason they made a second series of this is because some new lawyer has turned up on the scene, and who makes a living out of getting people off. So, off their sentence, rather. Sorry, that sounded weird. Kathleen Zellner, she's a powerhouse lawyer, basically, who has made a career out of reversing people's sentences. So, her, together with another couple of lawyers that are representing Brendan, who is the nephew. Have you watched any of this at all?
No.
No. Right. Okay. So basically, Stephen Avery, years ago, got banged up for a crime he didn't commit, gets let out. The verdict is overturned. and then immediately gets fingered for another murder. And so the first series is basically an indictment of the of the American judicial system and how easy it is to get someone put away for a crime they didn't commit. Shoddy evidence, dodgy confessions that were coerced, all this kind of thing. So and that basically charted sort of the whole history of the case until now. So this second series is the continuing attempts to get this guy off. So this new lawyer, Kathleen Zellner, is quite a character herself. And for the first few episodes, I was just fascinated by her face. I couldn't tell whether she's had a nose job, did a lot of cocaine, or had a stroke, or maybe all of the above. But nevertheless, she is like a total battle axe and goes so far as to actually building cases against other people who have been in the show, I say it like it's a TV show. It is a TV show, but these are actual real people. People around the case. She's begins building compelling cases against them, saying that they could have done it. So that is cool. And a couple of those towards the end actually kind of made the whole thing worth watching. Yeah. But it's very long, and the actual intricacies of investigating this stuff can be quite hard work. To be honest, it was something that I ended up just having on in the flat while I was doing other things. And even with that, I still kind of got something out of it. But yeah, I mean, unless I hear they get out, I don't think I'm going to bother tuning in again, because it's really just quite miserable as well, learning the details of the horrific crime that occurred. Yeah. So I'll spare you all that for now. But it's one of those zeitgeisty shows that I went to visit my mum in hospital, and I just mentioned it to her, and nurse just popped up going, "Making a murderer," or is getting my hair cut, mentioned it to my sister, and then someone else in the salon goes, "Making a murderer." It's one of those shows that everyone seems to be watching. Okay. So it's very easy to just you can overhear someone. It's water cooler conversation, basically. Oh, yeah. It's you watch that show and you'll be able to have a conversation with a random person down the street talking about it,
Fair enough.
Fair enough. it's quite a phenomenon. So have you watched any other TV stuff?
Funny enough, I've been going back in time a little bit again. Not quite Breaking Bad and Sons of Anarchy. But,
this is why you haven't seen Better Call Saul.
No, because I've started watching Vikings.
Oh, okay. But you hadn't seen that.
No, I hadn't seen it. I hadn't got round to it.
Right. Okay.
Really enjoying it. Although I did kind of mess up a little bit because I was watching Norsemen.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's
on Netflix.
That's the wrong way around.
Yes, that is so the wrong way around.
Because everything now is oh,
what is going on? I want to. What was it? The I can't remember what it is. The hurts are good or something. It's some weird thing where you basically challenge someone to the death and then take their land and their woman. It was really weird. That was a weird show.
There's less peasant revolts in the Amazon show.
But yeah, I really enjoyed both. I had to take a little break between each bit of watching the show, and after watching too much of it, I had a taste for meat, and everything I was talking had a raised inflection. We were both going around the flat just talking like that. It just insidiously seeped into our heads. We're just like...
Thing is, in Norsemen, those accents are actually authentic.
Yes.
In Vikings, they're all put on.
In Vikings, they genuinely most don't have an accent. It was really weird.
They're mostly Americans.
The king in Vikings is Jim Gordon's mate in Gotham.
Oh, he's in Mandy as well.
Oh wow,
he's the
God,
villain in Mandy. Yeah. No. Oh, so you've got quite a way through it then.
Well, I'm on the second season now. Most of the way through that.
Okay. Yeah.
There are only like 10 episodes, I think, a season or something like that. The first few.
Yeah, and then they do this weird thing where they say that each season is 20 episodes, but they come out over 2 years. So I don't know why they're doing that.
With that. So I'll just watch them as they are.
I think it's just because they technically that's the like they order them up in batches of 20.
Yeah.
There's rumours the show is coming to an end soon. I don't.
It hasn't ended yet.
No.
Oh my god! Really?
No, it's back next week.
Holy crap!
Yeah, so you're jumping on a moving ship, mate. Yeah, they've done like 90 odd episodes of it at this point, and there's another 10 that starts, but they come out weekly. I'm probably going to hold off until they're all out, I think.
God. Okay, cool. That's awesome.
Yeah,
I thought I've held out because everyone was talking about this years ago.
You were like, I'm not starting that until it's finished.
Yeah, because everyone kept saying about how they had to bloody wait. I tell you what, it was freaky though. Starting series 2, I was thinking, did we miss a couple of episodes? Because it just seems to jump. It's like something happens at the end of the first series. And the second series is like, oh, his brother's attacking him. What did we miss? Go back an episode. No.
I don't remember that because I remember the first series.
The first series is all about, the Earl and everything else, and he defeats him.
Yeah, it's. I forget the guy. He was in. What's that bloody great film that I love this year? Hereditary. The guy from Hereditary is the. Gabriel Byrne is the Jarl at the start, right?
Yeah.
And then it's all about the rise of Ragnar. And the first series kind of ends. I thought the first series ended abruptly, and the second series began like it was the end of series 1, because there's like a big fuck off battle.
Yeah, but the thing is, in the big battle, you see the start of his brother beginning to hate him, and he's left him at the camp. And then the next series, his brother, and the guy he's left him with are suddenly marching on them. And it felt like there was an episode in between that didn't happen. And then it was like, okay, we just accept that this is happening. And now we just watch the battle. And then it calmed down and it's like, okay, well, clearly he's decided to attack him and kill everyone else. And we literally watched the end of the last series again to try and see whether we'd missed anything.
Right. Yeah, I mean, we're talking like a long time ago.
Yeah, no. It was just a bit strange. So, but anyway, I'm glad you've jumped on it. The thing is, I think maybe that gap made that feel less weird, but where you're going straight onto it. Yeah.
Because I didn't rewatch
No,
because
there's normally like a 6-9 month gap in it when a series ends and it comes back or whatever, or maybe even a year. Who knows?
Yeah, and I think they took advantage of people's memory and stuff to gloss over some
because you knew
moments.
the amount of treachery was building, so then it was like a logical conclusion, and they thought, we don't need to film the bit in between. Everyone knows where it's going to lead to. Let's start off with the battle. My God, it's brutal.
Yeah,
we've literally just ended it on the episode where Ragnar has said to the guy, "I'm going to draw a blood eagle on your back."
Oh dear!
And your ribcage. So the next episode is going to be interesting. It's like arts and crafts for very bad people.
yeah, that's some mad shit. That show, definitely.
But
you've got some exciting stuff to come. There's some amazing battles in that show, like properly Game of Thrones style. I mean, that's the show you go to when Game of Thrones isn't on, basically.
Yeah, it does feel like that.
Yeah, no, it's great. That's brilliant. Glad you're watching that.
Sort of keeping slightly medieval. I don't know. It was more of a film though, so maybe we should have put this in with the films, but I'll just mention it anyway. I saw Outlaw King on Netflix because that's just kind of dropped, I think.
Yeah, I know it's confusing, isn't it? Because Netflix is TV, but
but they're movies, isn't it? So,
well, I think this is the thing, and I'm going to mention it in our next episode, probably again, that this year has been the year where we don't have to go to the cinema, really.
Yeah.
Because
it all comes to us.
It's not like all the films are going on Netflix. Netflix are making all the films.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's just the world we are in now.
It's becoming an exclusive experience now for going and seeing the Avengers and the Bohemian Rhapsodies and the one-off things where you think, I need to see it on a massive screen with the sound system, as opposed to just seeing a film.
Cinema is like for event movies.
Yeah.
And that's why all the movies now are trying to be like events, because they're trying to build all of this up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, good luck to them. I feel like the the writing is on the wall now.
Yeah,
and
especially with the size of the screen I'm looking at already. I mean, God, it's like when I put you full screen earlier, it was like Holly from Red Dwarf. It was just like, it's ridiculous. I'm just thinking when we're watching stuff on this screen, there's no need to leave the house. You put the lights out, you've got the comfort of your sofa. I literally almost have my own private everyman cinema. I mean, most people do now around the country. It's
also, both times I saw Bohemian Rhapsody, I couldn't help but think that the screen in the Everyman looked a bit washed out because the contrast on my OLED is just ridiculous. I'm so spoiled now.
Yeah. You gotta get the DVD. No, Blu-ray.
Oh, that's all out, man. That's just over. That's so over. Do you hear they're bringing out an Xbox without a drive?
They are actually doing that now.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like the idea of getting a HD Blu-ray thing, like a 4K Blu-ray player.
Yeah.
But I honestly don't think they're going to be in consoles. I'll be surprised if there is any drive in the new consoles.
Yeah.
Not that that's coming out anytime soon. Different podcast.
Exactly.
Sorry. So,
Outlaw King. Outlaw King follows the continuation of the William Wallace story.
That's right.
But it's about Robert the Bruce.
Yeah, and it's got
son
Kirk
of
in it.
Robert the Bruce. Son of Robert the Bruce, apparently.
Oh.
3 generations all call Robert of Bruce. But no, it's all about sort of the lords of Scotland who basically swore fealty to King. I want to say Edward. I don't remember though. I think it was Edward. And then decided to rally behind Bruce and fight back, but some of them didn't. So it was an interesting, different, alternative way of Braveheart without any of the over-the-top crapness. There was some liberties taken because it was a bit of a biopic, but it, I kind of enjoyed it. I think I enjoyed it. I felt that some of the cuts were a little bit rough, but I would say it's a nice sort of history-based epic. I think it was like 2 hours 15 or something like that. Definitely worth, interesting as well to kind of, a bit of Scottish history there that I didn't know about, considering it's just north. But I don't know. I can't really say too much about it because it was just basically, your standard medieval swords and armor and battles and stuff, but not quite on the scale of like Game of Thrones. There were no dragons, and I think Game of Thrones has spoilt my brain now permanently because every moment I saw one of these battles lining up, I kept thinking, any minute now, Daenerys is going to fly in and scorch that army, and it just didn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a fan of the director's other work. He did Hell or High Water and Startup, which was a good movie. This is like a sequel to Braveheart, effectively, isn't it?
Yeah, but more historical, because Braveheart is the most ridiculous historical film ever made. Although William Wallace does get a cameo, because you basically see his arm, because they scattered his body all over Scotland. So there's an arm, I think a quarter of him, on a post, and it says William Wallace, and you see his head on London Bridge.
But does he look like Mel Gibson?
I did think about that. I thought that would be awesome if they did make it look like him, but I don't think they did. He had more of a beard.
Okay.
I was a bit like, that was a missed opportunity. That would have been brilliant.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, I may well give that a look then.
Yeah.
I watched some stuff on Amazon. There's been some pretty good stuff on there lately, actually. First up is Homecoming, which stars Julia Roberts and is by the creator of Mr. Robot.
Oh, nice.
And this is basically about Julia Roberts is basically a head psychiatrist in this facility that deals with soldiers coming back home and dealing with their PTSD, it's like a program, and so part of it takes place in full screen, and then it does these flash forwards that are kind of in this much narrower screen, and the stuff in the flash forwards is her working as a waitress, apparently having no knowledge of the facility that she worked for before. So Bobby Cannavale plays like her boss, and this show was originally based on a podcast, and there's little nods to that, like when they're having telephone calls, you get the audio that they are hearing, so it sounds like telephone call sort of quality. Yeah. So I feel like that's like a reference to it being a podcast, but it does some brilliant stuff with the cinematography. I think he did a bit of this in Mr. Robot, but there's these shots where it looks like the view is locked on to the top of a car, and it's tracking the car as it goes around corners and stuff. And I cannot figure out how they did that. Like, I don't get it.
Okay.
Like, how did they do that? So, so there's bits like that. There's bits where they go through walls and everything. And Sam Esmail, got his name there, the director of all 10 episodes, all of which are half an hour long, which is great. He's got a very cinematic eye. You know, he references a lot of like classic movies. He wanted to give this like a very sort of 70s thriller kind of look, and it's definitely got that. Julia Roberts is really good. Bobby Cannavale is really good. There's also another character played by, I think it's Shea Wiggum, and he's basically trying to investigate all of this and kind of getting blocked at every turn, but he's trying to uncover the mystery. Yeah. Sissy Spacek plays Julia Roberts' mum. But yeah, it's really good. I think the fact that it's half an hour episodes, it's only 5 hours long.
Yeah.
So it's very, very consumable, and I smashed through it in a couple of days. It was very cool. If you like Mr. Robot, then I would say give this a look. I think a second series is in the offing, but it absolutely doesn't need one, because the ending was very cool in a very sweet way that just ended it with such a satisfying conclusion that I don't want to. I don't almost actively
don't want them to ruin it. Yeah,
yeah. Like it's like there's no need for it. It's perfect.
Yeah.
So I really recommend that. And the other thing on Amazon I watched is season 2 of Patriot, which is just one of my favourite shows ever. And it basically picks up from where the first season left off. And to sum it up, it's basically about a sad man in a suit who basically has to do stuff that his dad tells him to do because he works for the CIA. So in the first series, he had to infiltrate a piping company, which was just like the most tedious thing that you'd have to do with all the terminology and stuff.
Yeah.
But there's this sort of dark humour running to it. The other thing is he likes smoking on the weed and writing songs about what he's doing. So when he's like infiltrating a place, he'll do stuff like throw himself off a building because he knows that like he can do that. He'll black out for 7 seconds, but he'll be okay. You know, like, and that will be his method for infiltrating a building. There's another bit where there's an episode in it where they're in Luxembourg. Oh no, most of this series is in Paris. and basically his brother has decided that he's going to get married. So his dad is telling him that he needs to basically go and assassinate this guy, and his brother's like, I really need you to be there. Like, I need you to be my best man. And so basically he gets wrecked and has to go and infiltrate this place. And he's putting on this flak jacket and he's like just absolutely wankered. Can't even fucking see. And yeah, it's just brilliant. The guy gets more and more concussed as he goes through the show, and
That
they
sounds
kind
brilliant.
of do point of view shots where like all his vision is blurring, and it's just so ridiculous. I love this show with all my heart, and will continue to campaign for it for the rest of my life.
Is that an Amazon one?
Yeah, Patriot, it's called.
Brilliant. Okay.
And it's just fantastic. Don't know if there's going to be any more. There was quite a long gap between season 1 and 2. But this season's only 8 episodes. So I think I was supposed to be going out and it got cancelled. So I just sat in and watched like fucking almost all of it. Finished it off the next day.
Brilliant.
Because it's just brilliant. I love it. But it's got a very specific vibe to it. And I will not blame anyone if they can't be asked after watching the first episode. But
Yeah.
if you get it, then you will get it. And yeah, me and John were saying like, yeah, no one has watched this show. It's like the coolest show that no one has watched, and we feel super smug and refined and cool for watching it. So yeah, I would definitely recommend Patriot on
Like
Amazon.
a hidden gem sort of thing.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
All right, cool.
Have you been watching anything else?
I don't really know. For the life of me, I'm just thinking, because all I can think is just bloody Nordic stuff in my head at the moment. It's just, there's not much room for memory or anything at the moment.
Yeah, no, it will cloud your mind.
It's crazy. I'm just thinking, what else are we watching?
Well, I've got
Probably
one more
not.
that I
Yeah,
can...
go through. Your
I've got one more I just wanted to mention before I can mention something that I know you have seen. And I think you can probably guess what that is. But yeah, one more show that I caught up on that has started airing on Sky Atlantic, I believe, is called Kidding. And this reunites Jim Carrey with Michel Gondry, who directed him in Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. This is the first thing Jim Carrey has done on TV for a very long time, since he was, became a really big deal and was in lots of movies. But yeah, this show is, he plays Mr. Pickles, who is a children's television presenter.
Oh dear.
And this is what, and the show is about what would happen to this children's television presenter, how would he react if the worst shit ever happened to him?
Oh god.
So yeah, so it's got that kind of fuzzy sort of thing that Michel Gondry does really well with like puppets and things like that. But like, he basically in the first episode he decides that he wants to make a show about an episode about death, and his dad, who is like his boss, is just like no. His dad's played by Frank Langella, who is this incredibly gruff guy, and like so he's just trying to manage him and make sure that he stays on course. There's a lot of conversation going on about like we may have to replace him with a fake version, because
God. Yeah.
he's getting a bit depressed and we're worried about him and we don't know what he's going to do. But yeah, again, these are 10 30-minute episodes and it's really good. I think it's been renewed for season 2. So yeah, that's on Showtime in the States and Sky Atlantic over here.
Nice.
Cool. So
Speaking of Sky, did you hear about this weird combination now? Not plugging or anything, but I've heard something like Sky Q. I've got Netflix on there.
yeah, I think it's just an app, isn't it?
I think so, but I'm wondering whether those talks are something to do with something bigger. But obviously, with the Disney streaming platform about to become fully operational at some point, I'm wondering whether it's an accessibility, because there's a lot of Sky in a lot of homes.
Well,
And if there's some sort of shared combination of movies that are on Sky, sort of blurring with some that are on Netflix.
well, I can tell you for sure they won't be putting any Netflix content on Sky
Well, no.
channels because it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think honestly, it's just a marketing exercise that is helping Sky out by. So Sky are probably giving Netflix money to have them on the same poster.
Okay.
Because they're direct competitors, I think. And
I was going to say that wouldn't make sense because the only thing Sky has in this country is Game of Thrones.
Yeah, well, the only things they've got is stuff from HBO.
Yeah.
I think, well, the only stuff that I'm interested in. I know they do their own original content, stuff like with Carl Pilkington. I know they did some Discworld stuff years ago.
And they were part of, oh God, what was that? The weird sort of Scandinavian thing. Fortitude. I think they had a hand in that somehow as well.
Oh, yeah, you might be right.
But,
yeah, that was cool. I like that.
That was really good.
Yeah.
But if they hadn't done it, Netflix would have.
Yeah, that's for sure, yeah. Cool.
Sorry.
Have you seen... Yeah, no, that's a good point. I don't know the full facts. I will try and find out. Cool. Have you seen anything else, or shall we close this one off?
I reckon probably for now that'll be it. Simply because I'm struggling to recall most things. I reckon a bit more research for next show. I'm going to watch a few more bits as well. But that Kidding sounds pretty awesome actually, and I will definitely going to catch a few more from the list. Yeah,
it's really good so far. The one show I just wanted to end with quickly because it's a show I know you've seen is Killing Eve.
Yeah,
I finished that last night.
Strange, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I'd heard a lot of things about it, and I think most of it stemmed from the fact that it was created by Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who did Fleabag. She did Fleabag, which was a very well-regarded show that she did based on like a live thing she did. That was on BBC. Did you see that?
No, I've seen it. I think it was like a BBC Three thing or something, isn't it? Like an online. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it might still be on iPlayer somewhere. It's definitely on Amazon. But yeah, they're making a second series of that.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, if you like the humour in Killing Eve, then you will definitely like Fleabag. Okay. But Killing Eve is a much bigger show that's like globe-trotting and is about an assassin and a cop who have kind of a weird obsession with one another. Yeah. That's kind of the crux of it, I found, by the end of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really, really cool.
Was it Sandra Oh as the lead?
Yeah, she's like the cop or the CIA operative. She gets recruited fairly early on after failing to capture her as a cop. And then the assassin is played by Jodie Comer, plays Villanelle, who is basically it's based on books. From what I understand.
The books were called Villanelle. I think the Villanelle series. Yeah. I think there's a new one coming out. I heard people in the office talking about it. But yeah, it's strange because a lot of people were wondering. I mean, I've seen a lot of comments and stuff on it initially where people going, it's a bit weird. It's like a BBC show and it's an American lead. But I think it was coined for BBC America first. So that's why it has the American, Sandra Oh as the American lead. So they coughed up the money and then it kind of made its way back to Blighty BBC. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was on in the States for like at the beginning of the year. Yeah. It was like a co-production. And so it's fine. I think they put it all out on iPlayer.
Yeah, they did
on
Netflix with it, didn't they?
Yeah, but then it was still on weekly if you wanted to watch it that way on telly, normal telly.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. I really enjoyed it. It definitely, it's kind of like the best British TV stuff.
Yeah.
Remind me a bit of, was it Zodiac? Not Zodiac. That Channel 4 show. Oh, Utopia, that's it. It reminded me a bit of that sort of quality, yeah. But yeah, I think they're doing a second series of this. Phoebe Waller-Bridge is involved still. Don't know if she's writing it still, though. But yeah, there was definitely like a darkness and like a comedy sort of element to it.
The laughter hid a really sinister sort of smile behind it, didn't it?
Yeah.
And even when you kind of think it's all wrapped up, and then at the end it just turns itself on its head, and you're like, oh, why did they do that? And then it's almost crazy for crazy's sake, but
yeah.
I mean, no spoilers, because I don't know. I think it's still fairly fresh, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and it's still. I think they said it's available on iPlayer. When I looked, it said it's available for like over a year.
Oh wow!
So it's going to be there for a while. But yeah, the thing I liked about it, there was a problem I had with it, wasn't there? Like about halfway through, where there's this signposting for a character death. Like right at the beginning, it's like, I'm going to die. And it's like, oh, yeah. And all of a sudden, this character becomes strangely likeable.
500% likeable. It's like, he's a complete dick for a third of the sit. And then, oh no, we like him now. Oh no. You're like,
it's just such a, like, it's almost disorientating. I'm like, who is this guy? Like, was he even in this show?
By the writers, it is such a wanker move, though, because it's like the person that you kind of think, oh, you're just a supporting pillar. You enhance the way that the world is by being that character that puts the main character down, but is secretly on their side as well. And then you kind of think, okay, that's your thing. Then suddenly they're like really likable, you really relate to them, you really kind of start rooting for them, and then it's like, oh no, they've really done that. Oh, maybe it's not. Oh no, they did. Oh no. I think that was just some wonky writing. I'm looking it up. That wasn't one of Phoebe Waller-Bridge's episodes, so maybe she didn't develop that character, or maybe they could have done some more setup with that character a bit earlier on, and it wouldn't have felt so weird. But I don't know. That was really just a small criticism I had. I'm glad you did stick it through, because I remember you sending the message going, I think it's like the first episode or something. You went, it does get better, right?
Yeah, I just felt
it's hard to. To be honest, I kind of felt a bit the same as well, because you don't expect, because for I saw all the trailers and stuff on there, and it's like, they're talking about dealing with a psychopath and everything else, and you kind of think it's a bit dark humor. It's like, you shouldn't tell a psychopath they're a psychopath, it upsets them. Are you upset? And she does the whole sort of lip pouty nodding. You're like, okay, this looks kind of good, because she's clearly seems a bit like scary. Yeah. Then you see the first episode, and it's like almost like American comedian, sort of slightly dry.
Yeah.
And it completely throws you off. You're like, well, the tempo of this seems completely different. You kind of think she's going to be the character that brings a lot of the dark humor, but then it throws you off, and then you kind of have to readdress and then go, well, I'll just let it show me what it wants to do. And then you kind of go, okay, and then you get on board, and then you kind of get to know the characters a bit more. And it's quite a nice tale.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a bit sharper at first, but the character of Villanelle, I found her intriguing enough to watch the second one, and then after that I was pretty much hooked. But it's 8 episodes. They're only like 40-minute episodes as well, so I had a particularly delayed train journey the other night and managed to get about halfway through it.
Oh wow!
And then finished it the next day. I love these little ones because they pretty much just fill my commute for a day and a bit, and I've done it, So thanks for listening to the Not Watching Podcast, part of the Not Listening Podcast Network, where you can also find the Not Playing Podcast, where we talk about video games, and the Not Listening Podcast, where you can hear Adam and Co talk about all kinds of nonsensical nonsense. You can email us at notwatchingpodcast@gmail.com, or you can tweet at or follow us on Twitter at NotWatchingPod. You can find the show notes for all our shows at notlistening.co.uk, and if you like what you've heard here, please do leave us a review. Anyway, that's all for now. Until next time, bye!